Hi, this is Tora Brilo, and this is a very quick introduction to ChatGPT for Humanities faculty. This video is broken up into several parts. First, the intro, which you're seeing right now. Next, I'll just briefly explain how to create a ChatGPT account. Next, I'll talk about some of the relevant uses that students and faculty might want to be aware of. Then we'll talk about some concerns. And lastly, think about some suggestions for your further consideration. So first, let's talk about creating an account. Start by going to OpenAI. You can find OpenAI through Google, and then sign up for a ChatGPT account. And this is what the sign up screen looks like. If you're concerned about privacy, you may want to consider making a new Gmail address and using that. Next, here are some of the ways that ChatGPT is used by students and how you might think about using it in assignments. It's important to know how students are using these chatbots and what they're capable of so that you can make decisions about your teaching based on awareness of this technology. Students can use ChatGPT for brainstorming. And this is what that might look like. Okay, so now I'm going to go to my ChatGPT window here, and I'm going to ask it to help me to brainstorm an assignment about paper mills, since that's what I'm working on right now. If you've never seen ChatGPT before in action, one of the things LLMs are amazing at, and it's startling to see, is how fast they are. So here's what it's come up with. So then I might choose one of these topics and ask for more ideas based on one of the topics. And as you can see, it goes quite quickly. Next, students can use ChatGPT as a creative writing tool. Let me ask it to write a song in the style of The Cure. And there we have it. I can also ask it to write me a poem about flowers or roses. I can ask ChatGPT to write short stories or all other kinds of creative things. Students can also use ChatGPT as a way of fixing their writing style or fixing their grammar and punctuation. Students can use ChatGPT to generate bibliographies, lists of facts, and other kinds of lists. Students can use ChatGPT and other chatbots to summarize text for them. So I might ask for a summary of something, like maybe a work of literature or a philosophical text. I could also ask for a summary of Romeo and Juliet or any other kind of fairly canonical text. ChatGPT can analyze and summarize complicated texts. For example, if I click this little paperclip here, it will ask for, I can upload a PDF. So in this case, I'm going to upload this Melville PDF. And now I can ask it some questions about the PDF that I just fed it. I'm sure you can imagine applications for this, both in terms of difficult readings that you might like students to be able to understand, and also misuses where we really do want our students to sit down and struggle with and practice reading with all of its difficulties and ambiguities. Next, let's talk about some of the ethical concerns that have come up with ChatGPT. First off is the issue of copyright. Of course, ChatGPT is filled with copyrighted materials, and ownership has been a consistent problem. Next is accuracy, and I do want to show you an example of its problems with accuracy. This is so important to talk to with your students. In this example, I've asked ChatGPT to generate a bibliography of literary works that mention paper or paper mills in their text. And this is what it's given me. Fiction, Mill on the Floss. Now that's a novel that actually doesn't have a paper mill in it. Paper Towns by John Green. The Paper Mill by Thomas Hardy. This is an example of ChatGPT's ability to hallucinate. There's no such story as The Paper Mill by Thomas Hardy. And so I've asked it, tell me more about your response, The Paper Mill by Thomas Hardy. And it says, I apologize for the confusion in my previous response. There seems to be an error as there is no known short story, The Paper Mill by Thomas Hardy. So what I want to point out here is that when you're working with ChatGPT with students, it's a really good idea to make sure that they understand that ChatGPT is not an infallible tool, and many times it will give you answers that are significantly incorrect. So I do spend time going over this in my classes. As far as cheating is concerned, it's worth considering the idea that we are not cops. So it's probably important for us to think about ChatGPT and how we want to interact with our students given the nature of this tool. There are privacy issues to consider. ChatGPT is prone to hallucination, particularly in the free version that most students access. It is also capable of spreading misinformation in addition to its hallucinations. As with any large language model, it's only as good as what's fed into it, and so therefore there are all kinds of biases that students should be aware of as they use information that comes from ChatGPT. Finally, it's important to consider resource consumptions when we're thinking about something that takes up this much computing power. I'd like to leave you with some further thoughts for your consideration. First of all, we should absolutely be talking to students about AI. They're using it, they're aware of it, and it's important for us not to pretend that it doesn't exist. Secondly, I urge you to consider some kind of a syllabus statement. There are no standard syllabus statements. There is no policy here at CU Boulder, and therefore it's up to you to make a decision about how you want to use ChatGPT in your classroom. Thirdly, how could you use class time to demonstrate responsible use of large learning models? So, for example, in my class, I tend to feed all of my prompts for any writing assignments into ChatGPT beforehand so that we as a group can discuss what ChatGPT knows, what it gets right, and what it gets wrong. Finally, which ethical questions are most important to you, and how might you share those with your students? Thanks for the time. I hope this video gives you some ways to think about ChatGPT and to consider how you might use it in your classroom.